Afternoon tea review of Victoria Cafe inside the King Edward Hotel in Toronto, Ontario. My mum and I took in this tea venue a few weeks ago and quite enjoyed it. This is my 42nd afternoon tea in the past year, and reviewing them has become quite an obsession for me, especially on the Clock app. So let's get into it. The food here was really great, so let's do the scorecard in reverse order so we can start with the positive. The savories were served first on individual plates. We each got 5 savories on varied breads, with different fillings and shapes. I liked the uniqueness of the mango cucumber cream cheese, and I liked the caprese sandwich too, for being unique. All of the breads were fresh and everything tasted good. The savories are getting scored at 5 out of 5 here. Next, our 3-tier plate was served to us. The bottom tier had our scones, and then there was a plate for each of us for the sweets. That was an interesting presentation, giving the sweets a large stage for themselves and really highlighting them. I was a fan of how this looked. Very pretty and appetizing. We started with the scones, and we each got 2, which is the perfect amount. One was a blueberry buttermilk and the other was a classic plain scone. The scones were served with a shared pot of clotted cream, lemon curd and strawberry jam, and we also asked for butter too. Yes, it was proper clotted cream. Hooray! I didn't like having to put the accompaniments on my plate like this to share with my mom. It's messy and hard to manage. I'd prefer if we each had our own servings of the accompaniments, because we are classy ladies and don't like the mess. The scones tasted fine, light and fluffy. Usually I prefer a flaky, buttery scone, but I still enjoyed these scones and I ate them both. Oh my goodness. Scones are scored at an 8 out of 10. On to the sweets. Aren't they stunning in terms of colors, shapes, textures, embellishments and flavors? I was impressed with the variety of all of these things. The rooftop honey Pooh Bear posset was my absolute favorite from this plate. The cookie had a meringue beehive with a honey drizzle on it. How cute and unique, and the posset itself was deliciously creamy. I loved this sweet gem. I was really impressed overall with the variety of the sweets here. The other sweet flavors and textures were on point too. You can tell someone has put a lot of thought and effort into the appearance and taste of these desserts. And they're getting a top score of 5 out of 5. Now let's go back and talk about the tea. The tea served here is the Tea Leaves brand and the Sloan brand of tea. There was no Earl Grey per se, and I wasn't feeling like my usual heavenly cream, so I tried the Mad Hatter's tea. It was just okay for me. My mum chose the Lavender Earl Grey and she really enjoyed it. The tea is being scored at 4 out of 5 here. In terms of venue, ambiance and service, this room didn't impress me. There was no windows for natural light. While the tables had faux linens and proper dishes, there was no flowers or anything embellishing to make it pretty on the tables. The room itself is fine, but I wouldn't call it impressive or pretty in any way, so I was kind of disappointed by that, especially since the food was so good. I think they need to reconfigure their large lobby and serve afternoon tea in the open natural light. That would give it some character and nicer atmosphere than this hotel boardroom vibe that's going on now. And the service here wasn't the best either. And the King Edward is in downtown Toronto, so it's hard to get to, especially in a car with Toronto traffic. The ambiance, venue and service is getting scored at 1 out of 5 on the scorecard. This afternoon tea cost $79 Canadian per person, which is expensive for me compared to the tea rooms I usually prefer to visit, but it is on par or slightly lower than other Toronto hotel teas. I consider this a splurge special occasion tea experience. I would bring my grandma here for tea. She'd enjoy the food. Because the good food trumps the bad ambiance and service here, my overall experience was 4 out of 5, making my overall impression 8 out of 10 on the scorecard. Alas, the final score here is 78%. This is a very respectable showing, and I would suggest that you try this afternoon tea if you're in or if you can get to Toronto. Is this a venue where you'd attend afternoon tea? Please comment below with your impressions. And thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel for future tea reviews.